Mr. Gary, I'd like to present to you and the Miami Valley Council a copy of my fourth book, Rhymes of Outdoor Life. They say you can't sell a book of poetry. We're over halfway through the third edition.
Is that right?
The first had 35, the second had 50, the third is nearly 80, if not over 80 this time. I've lost count. It's a bad habit I have. I provoke the muse. I get an idea, as the old lady said. I get an idea, I write it down, see, and we add it to the collection. And it's the one thing that hasn't, they say everything gets higher. This sells at the same modest price it did the first edition. It has variety if it doesn't have anything else.
How about that?
And we've had a few compliments. I'd like to have your opinion and that of the society after you read it.
Will do.
How else is an author appreciates the opinions of good readers? Why shouldn't he? How else do you know whether you hit the mark or missed it a mile if they don't tell you? And I'm glad to present a copy of this. You can use anything that you wish sometime that is useful. When you get to be nearly 96 years old, you just do your nickel's worth when, where, and if you can.
Well, thank you, Carl. In behalf of Miami Valley Cable Council, I think it's an honor and a privilege to receive this, and I'll be the first one to sit down and read it, and then I'll turn it over to council for their comments.
And tell me which ones you don't like.
Absolutely. We'll do that. Thank you very much. Carl, sooner or later I'm going to have to ask you this question. Your date of birth. You've always told me you're 95 and soon be 96.
That's right. Born May the 19th, 1889.
18 what?
89.
89.
I was 11 years old at the turn of the century.
I wasn't even thought about it back at that time.
I don't expect you were.
And you're the son of
Dr. Raymond W. and Smith and Mattie D. Mann Smith. My mother was a man, paradoxical as that may seem, the old German family. 37 of them buried in the Burlington Cemetery and a dozen more in cemeteries around.
Did they move the cemetery when they put in
No, if they had, they'd have found me up there with a shotgun. I hate that dam like poison.
Is that right?
They're going to need that fine land a lot more some of these days for food than they need to take a boat ride, go fishing or swimming.
That's correct.
And New Burlington, the good part of town, was above the flood line. And they bought a lot more floodplain than they needed.
They're right on the
cemetery's up on the hill, high and dry.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not moved.
Did they move the High Bell building over there?
Yeah.
They had to move that, didn't they?
Well, the High Bell, they had their own telephone system, the Mutual.
Oh, yeah, that's what that was.
Dr. Whitaker had that. They moved the whole town.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't need to, in my humble opinion. They nominated me for the Storytellers Club, and I'm supposed to talk over there the 18th or 19th, but that's near my birthday. I'll probably be over there again in the fall. They nominated me for the High Storytellers Club. In other words, the Liars Club.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah.
Well, Carl, I know...
honorable mention over there.
Yeah. Carl, I know that you started in one-room schoolhouse, just like I did. My first 2 years were...
Ross Township.
Well, I was born in Dark County, and I went to a one-room schoolhouse in Neve Township, and the one teacher...
Were you near where Annie Oakley was born?
Well, no, Annie Oakley was born in north of Greenville.
North of Greenville,
but,
all right.
I've had my parents and grandmother tell me about the lady. She was quite
I saw her
shot.
Twice. I saw her shoot.
Yes, yes.
She could bark a squirrel. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Is shoot right beside him, and the exploding bark will stun him, grab him with the tail, See, she hunted for meat for the family.
I know she was the sole provider.
Yeah.
And she used to kill game and truck it to Cincinnati, I understood, back in those days.
She never, and that, you know, when Hollywood got that, Annie Gets Your Gun, they messed it up. She used to, can't get a man with a gun. She did. She never let anybody beat her.
That's right.
See, Red Randall, the former insurance man, former mayor there, is one of my pupils.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the principal of Xenia High School, trying to think of his name, he died just a week before last. He was from there. And old Dr. Jones, a dentist there, used to raise bassets for me.
Oh, I see.
Over there. So, and I had a number of friends over there, and they didn't care for that. Annie Gets Your Gun.
No.
Hollywood always messes things
That's
up.
Right. You're correct.
And she
Let me ask
never
you a
let
question.
anybody beat her.
Now, your first 8 years of school were in a one-room schoolhouse.
2 years.
First two?
First 2 years.
Oh.
1908-10.
Oh, yeah.
But, and I was rich. I got $45 a month.
Yeah.
But my board, and a dollar was a dollar then.
Oh, yeah.
That is a day of 5-cent sandwiches,
That's
10-cent lunch counters. Quarter would buy you a good meal at any restaurant.
Oh, absolutely.
And first-class restaurant. And I wore a Hart Schaffner and Mark suits. They cost me $40. They wore like iron. They had a horsehair cloth reinforced the lapels. There isn't any now. They're in the horses.
Yeah. You know, when I was a young man, I always wanted to be an owner of a Hart Schaffner and Mark suit.
Yeah.
But due to my income, I had to come up with enough money to buy a Richmond Brothers suit.
Yeah, well, I wore those
and
too.
What would you say a Hart Schaffner and Mark suit would sell for today? Or what are they?
$375.
$375.
But they were $40 then.
Oh, yeah.
And they were better made then than now. They wore like iron. I had two, a light one for summer and a heavy one for winter, see?
Yeah. Your early schooling, where did you graduate from high school?
Well, I graduated Spring Valley in 1907, the first class out of that concrete building.
You mean the one that was just bought for $1? I mean...
no, not those. They're out on the level.
Oh.
But that one is, chap owns it, hadn't done anything with it. That's vacant now. But I came back to teach in the front room upstairs in 1911. Then I came back as principal in the big room in 1917.
I was 5 years old when you were doing that.
And then in 1919, I mean it came back in 1915 to be principal. And then in 1917, I went from the principalship of Spring Valley High School at $90 a month to work for Uncle Sam as a buck private in the rear rank for $30 a month. Only when I got across to be shot at, I was worth $6 more as a target to be shot at, see? I was worth $36.
Where did you land overseas?
We landed at Liverpool.
You know, I always recall, of course, I was, like I said, I was born in 12 and the war started in 17. I was 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I was brought up, I still remember when I was just a child, and I was living in the country, lived on a farm. We had a railroad that went not too far from our farm. And it was me as a child and my little brother, we used to go down to that railroad crossing and see the troop trains. They'd stop there, I don't know why. And those soldier boys used to wave at us out of the windows of those troop trains when they were headed overseas.
That's where we went.
And I don't know, back in those days...
That is in Greenville?
No, that was in New Madison in Dark County.
In Dark County.
And on what they call the Township Line Road, and the railroad was the Big Four. But I remember when I was a child,